Hi guys, in this video we are going to see how to work with Spring Boot with MySQL. Let's start one small POC to identify how we are going to configure database related things in our Spring Boot application. Okay, let's start small project. Before starting the project, make sure that you have downloaded a Spring Toolsuite software which is useful for developing Spring Boot application. I am using Spring Toolsuite version 4. Okay, let me create a project. Click on the file, new Spring Starter project. Okay, I am going to name my project as SP with I am going to SP with MySQL is fine. Spring Boot with MySQL. Okay. Then click next. Okay. Let me change the package name. I want to change the package name as SP with MySQL. Okay, click next. I think package name is not good. I think we are giving the class name and the package name is like the same. So I want to change it to SP MySQL. Yeah, it's perfect. So now add the required dependencies for my project, for our project. So I'm going to add Spring Web, JPA and MySQL driver. Okay. Spring Data JPA and MySQL driver. I will tell you what are the why we are using these things, and I will tell you the purpose of the things that we are using our project. Okay. It will take some time to build our project. So to build our project, it is actually using pom.xml, which is project object model. So this is nothing but XML file that contains our project related things like configuration information such as dependencies, source directory, plugin and calls, etc. Okay. So these things are used by Maven to build our project. Okay. So let me explain why we are using MySQL, JPA and Spring Web. So the Spring Web actually using Tomcat as the default embedded container. Okay, it is using Tomcat server. Okay, so I will explain what is JPA, ORM and Hibernate in another video, but here you need to know what is JPA. Need to know about JPA. Okay. JPA is actually like a converting tool. It is converting our Java object to the database object, and like it is converting the database object to the Java object. Whenever you want to save a Java object into the database, you need to have JPA. Okay, let me explain Spring Web, Spring Data JPA and MySQL driver. So Spring Web is used for building web application. Okay. You need to know what is web application. Okay, so web application is actually a application software which runs on a web servers. Okay, like a Chrome, a Microsoft Edge, Web-Gemini, like these things. Okay, unlike computer-based software programs which usually runs on our operating systems like Windows, Linux. So okay. Web application is can be accessed by the user through a web browser by using the project directory. Source main Java is my main application projects directory, and source-java is a testing directory. Source main resources is resource directory. I will explain application.properties later. Let me open my main file directory. Then open my main applications. Main application means main file, main function. So this is our main class. Okay. So if you observe, the first line is we have included the package name. Then we have imported Spring Boot libraries. Okay. Then we have annotated our classes Spring Boot applications. So this annotation Spring Boot application just enables Spring Boot auto configuration and component scanning, like these things. Okay. If you observe, inside the main function I have written Spring application dot run space our main application dot class and then arguments. So in this Spring Boot Spring application class we are using for run our Spring Boot applications. So actually what it does is so the Spring Boot Spring application class, which is used to bootstrap and launch our Spring Boot application from this main class. Okay. Yeah, that's it. So the Spring Boot Spring application class, which is used to bootstrap and launch our Spring Boot application from our main class only. Okay. So this Spring Boot Spring application is capable of creating application context from the class path only. Okay. So this application context, which is used for creating the Spring beans. Okay. Let's create the packages for model, JP repository and controller. We already know we are using JP repository, which is actually going to save our Java object into the database. Okay. Then what is model? Model is actually representation of our Java object, so which is going to be saved in the database. Okay. So we need to add properties in the model class. So whatever the properties we declared in the model class is actually represents a column in the table of a database. We need to add getters and setters method to access the properties, and we need to add the no argument constructor. Let me copy the base package name. So I am going to create all the packages under the base package. So if you are going to create another package, then you need to scan the package by using component scanning annotations in our main class. So I just don't want to add the annotations, so I am going to create all the packages under the base package only. Okay. So we have created packages for model, controller and JPA. Okay. So right, we have already explained what is model. We just need to refresh that. Okay. So model is actually a Java object. It represents an object. It is actually going to have properties which is actually like a column in the table of a database. We need to add the getters and setters method, which is provided by Java, to access the properties of the model class. Then we need to add the no argument constructor in the model class. Okay. Then we need to annotate the model class as entity. Okay. Whenever you annotate the model class as entity, it is actually saying the Spring Boot application as it actually saying the Spring Boot application to recognize this model class as entity. That means it is actually going to save Java object into the database. Okay. So what is JP? JP, we already know that it is actually going to convert our Java object into the database object. So controller is going to handle our HTTP request by using dispatcher servlet. Okay, I will explain Spring MVC flow in another video. let's create the model object first. So we already know that model object is actually going to represent an object which is going to save into the database. So whenever Spring Boot applications is at entity notation, it simply recognizes this classes model object which is going to save into the database. Okay, let's create a model object. I'm going to create a model class as ticket. Okay, yeah, I'm going to I'm naming the ticket class as entity. This means we are telling the Spring Boot applications recognize this as classes the entity. Then I am going to annotate this ticket class table name. So okay, so this table name is going to be created in the database. Table, just giving the name in a string variable. Okay, I named as ticket table. So this is the table name. Then I am going to create the properties, which is a table column. Okay, so whatever we define the column, we need to create as private. So if you did not write table annotations, the Spring Boot applications will take the class name as table name. Okay, so the first I am creating ID, then I am creating place, then I am going to create price, ticket price. Okay, I'm going to annotate this ID as primary key ID, which is annotated by @id. So whenever you are creating a table, you need to create a table. You need to create a primary key ID. Without a primary key ID, you can't create a table in any database. Okay, so I'm going to mark this ID as primary key ID by using @id annotation. Okay, so and I'm going to make this ID as auto generated. It means I don't want to give a value for this ID whenever I am creating. So I want to make this ID as auto generated by using auto generated annotation. Okay, then I am going to create getters and setters for these properties. Then I am going to create no argument constructor for this ticket our model class. Okay, yeah, we created a model class. Let me create a JPA repository. So JP repository actually interface. So I'm going to name it as I'm naming okay, we created a repository as Spring Boot MySQL JPA. Okay. So first we are going to extend this interface with CRUD repository, which is provided by Spring Data. Okay, which is provided by Spring Data to easily integrate with any database implementations. Okay, let me extend this JP repository by using extends keyword. Extends CRUD repository. Here we should pass model class name, which is ticket. Then we should pass model class primary key ID, model class primary key data type, which is integer. Okay. Yeah, done. Here we need to annotate this JPA as repository so that our Spring Boot application will recognize this interfaces repository, JP repository. Okay, then our next step is we need to create the controller for our project. Okay, let me create a controller class. Controller is a class. Okay, SP MySQL controller. Okay, I am going to mark this as REST controller. Annotate this as REST controller. So whenever Spring Boot application sees the annotation REST controller, it simply recognizes this as controller of the project of our Spring Boot application. Okay. Then I am going to inject a JP repository into this REST controller by using auto-wired annotation. Okay, so it will inject the object at the runtime, so that we are by using the auto-wired keyword, auto-wired annotation. Okay, so auto-wired annotation will inject the JPA object at the runtime. Auto-wired. Okay, so let's write two endpoints. One is for post method, another method is for get method. So we are going to save some tickets into the database by using post method, and we are going to get the tickets by using get method. Let's create the post method first. Public I'm going to return string save tickets. Okay, so whenever you are using post mapping post method, you need to have a request body. So request body is actually a HTTP header body, HTTP body. So in this HTTP body, we are going to give our ticket object. Okay. Okay. So we are passing our ticket object in the HTTP body. Okay. We are going to save this object by using jpa.save method. Before we need to return, okay, we need to return some string. jp.save, which is going to save the object into the database. Okay, then I'm returning the ticket id with plus saved. Okay, I'm just acknowledging that the ticket object is saved in the database. Get id is saved. Okay, now I am annotating this method as post mapping. So this is just recognize method as post mapping, which is going to post some data into the body, HTTP body. So here I am mentioning the URL save ticket. Okay, so now write one more method for which is going to return list of tickets which are available in the database. Now we can public list ticket get tickets, but we are going to annotate this method as get mapping. Then we are going to pass the URL get tickets. Simply returning by using find all method, jpa.find all. Yeah, that's it. It will return a list of ticket objects. We need to convert this find all as list. Okay, now we have written the things to save the data in our database, but we didn't provide our database details, like what is our driver class name, URL, username and password to save our object into the database. That we need to configure in the application.properties file. Okay, so we are going to configure driver class name, URL, username, password in the application.properties file. Okay, let me open the application.properties file first. So application properties, which is usually under source main resources directory. So here I am going to write our driver class name, URL, username, password. Okay, let's configure that. But here we no need to write any XML or any Java configuration approach to provide database details. To provide those database details, we are going to use application.properties file only. Normally, when we are going to perform Spring ORM integration, the first thing we need to add the database source. So then inside the data source, we need to add 4 properties of the data source. Four properties of data sources are class name, URL, username, password. Driver class name is actually a MySQL driver, like something like. So the URL is going to be like the database URL, then our database username, then our database password. Okay, then we need to provide a dialect for SQL, then show SQL command, which is for showing the SQL command whenever we run the SQL command, and DDL auto. So DDL auto, whether you want to create it for every request or you want to update. So these are the properties we need to pass in the application.properties file. Let me copy the things that I have created already. Okay, I will pass here the application properties instead of write configuration and all. Syntax is very simple. Okay, So if you observe, this is my schema name, which is database name, MySQL, SP MySQL. Okay, so my username, password, and my driver class name, and this SQL, and the Hibernate DDL2. Whether you want create for every request or you update for every request. Then I created dialect, right? Then I have written a dialect for connecting the MySQL database. Okay. This Hibernate format SQL command is not going to use. Actually, we are not going to use this. Anyway, I'll leave this as it is. So let's create the database first. Create database, SP MySQL. Okay. Then use SP MySQL. Okay. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, let's refresh this CMOS. If you observe, we have created SP MySQL database. Okay. Okay, now let's start the applications. Before start, it is better to change our server port, Tomcat server port to its default port is 8080. We are changing the port to 9090. Okay. So let's start our application. Run as Java application. Okay. Yeah, it's running. Application. Yeah. The show SQL command is showing the SQL commands. Yeah. Yeah. Application started at port 9090. Okay. Okay. Let's open the Postman application before. Okay, let's open the Postman application. Okay. First we are going to save a ticket object into the database. So we are going to pass our object ticket object into the body of the HTTP request. Okay, HTTP post request method, which is under raw data. Yeah. Where is raw? Yeah, got it. So the media type is JSON. Let's pass the ticket into the body of the HTTP post method. I'm going to we define the name places integer. Actually, we need to instead of defining the places integer, we should have defined as string. Okay, anyway, it's okay. We wrote places. We have written a places 1 and the price is 20. Let's copy the URL. I think it's a save ticket. Yeah. Yeah, send, click send. Yeah, one saved. One is actually the ticket number. Okay, let me check this into the database. Let me refresh this. Yeah, if you observe under the table, the ticket table is created. Yeah, if you observe, we have created the ID number 1. Yeah, place 1, price 20. Okay, so then our next step is now let's read the objects from the database. Okay, yeah, it returns. Yeah, I have already given a request. Okay, it returns the current object which are saved in the database table. Okay, it returned one object which is just saved. Okay, yeah, it's done. So in this way we can configure MySQL with our Spring Boot application. It's like very loosely coupled today. So now I am using MySQL. Okay, so if I want to use Oracle or Cassandra database, simply I need to change the configurations, database configuration in the application properties file only. Okay, it's very simple, right? Yeah. So thanks for watching this video. If you have doubts on regarding this, comment in the YouTube video section. Okay, so our next video will be I'm going to explain about serialization. Yeah, let's see in the upcoming video. Okay, yeah, here you see the Hibernate, the SQL command. You can observe the SQL commands that are executed. Yeah, we will see the next video in the serialization. Yeah, thank you.